Okay, we might as well dive right into the topic. So, for years I thought that hustling harder was the answer until I stopped. And when I stopped, everything in my life changed. My income, my relationships, my peace. And that is exactly what I am going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you step by step how to achieve this without losing everything you worked for. So watch to the end of this video and I will give you my science-backed 3-step formula of identity reset method that will help you from overworking to overflow in just 7 days. So here's what we're actually going to dive into today. Number one, we're going to dive into why hustling keeps you stuck. And no, it is not because you're lazy. Number two, the identity shift that changed everything for me. And number three, my proven 3-step identity reset method so you can get lasting change. And in the end, I will show you exactly where to go so you can keep stacking these new lessons onto your life until your dream life becomes the reality. So let's get on to it. So let's just be real here. We've all been sold the lie that if we just hustle more, work longer, push more, we will all achieve the life we want. But the truth that no one told you is that hustle actually can trap you. Let me dive into this. Because for women, this trap digs even deeper because men's bodies are made to operate on a 24-hour cycle so they can actually push, perform, and recover in one day. But this is not the situation for us women. But women, we operate on a 28-day cycle. So our hormones, our energy, our focus, and even our metabolisms change week to week. So the key point from here is that if we literally try to hustle like men, we are actually working against our biology. And add to that, when you actually keep hustling and hustle too much for too long, you actually trigger what's called the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight response we have in our bodies. So in neuroscience, we call this sympathetic dominance, which means that your body literally thinks it is unsafe to slow down. And when your body thinks you're unsafe, your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain who actually makes all the decisions, and the part of your brain that is responsible for strategy, creativity, and problem solving. And that is exactly why you can hustle harder than ever and still feel like you get nowhere. Maybe this is relatable. So no, you are not broken. You're just trying to build your dream life from a nervous system and a biology who is in survival mode. And survival mode isn't designed for growth. It is designed for survival. I promise you, I can relate, because for years my identity was built upon being the overachiever, being the perfectionist, and every time I said no, I felt like I was letting someone down. Every time I slowed down, I felt guilty. So my worth was actually tied to how much I could push, perform, and produce, which is very, very interesting because this is exactly what we see in today's society of women who are high achievers. But here's the thing. My body isn't a robot, and neither is yours. We as women are designed for cycles of creation and rest. We are not designed for permanent grind. And the moment I accepted that, I need you to listen closer now. The moment I accepted that, I stopped from thinking, oh, what can I do more? How can I do more? To actually start asking, who do I need to become to be a woman whom this can happen to easily? And that mindset shift changed everything for me. So now let's talk about 2 women who actually gained amazing results just for following this simple process. One over here, we have Sarah. Sarah, she is a very hardworking woman. She has her own business, but she was working, when I met her, 14 hours a day. She, just like me, thought that working harder was what it was all about. But we shifted her identity from scrambling business owner to calm, confident CEO. So within 6 weeks, She literally only worked 6 hours a day at a max. She closed her biggest client yet, and she took a week vacation off without feeling guilt. That is what I call a powerful story in just 6 weeks. And on the other side, we have Emma. Emma came to me feeling invisible and burned out in her own life. She was the friend who always said yes. She was the employee who overworked all the time because she always thought she had to prove herself. But we shift her identity into thinking and knowing that she was the prize. And within 2 months, she literally told me that, Sine, I feel so great in my life. I feel like I'm actually thriving and not surviving. She learned to set boundaries in her job. She attracted healthy love with a man who just adored her. And that is another one of the success stories. And that is exactly what happens when you just do the simple work. So if you want to be like Sarah and Emma and get great results, what do you do now? And that is a great question. What you do now is that you do this 3-step formula that I'm going to give you right now. Step number 1 is called interrupt the pattern. So when you start noticing yourself falling back into the old role, like let's say people pleasing, overthinking, and all these things, you literally stop, you stand up, you shake it off, and you tell yourself, this is not me anymore. Because science shows that when you actually physically move your body, you change and weaken the old neural pathways by changing your physical state. And that is by time what's going to weaken this whole thing and make your brain wired differently. And step number 2 is install the new self. So you gotta ask yourself, if I was already my future self, working with her biology, not against it, how would I react and what would I do? And then act on it immediately, because this creates muscle memory in your body for your identity, so your brain can start wiring that as the default. That is very, very interesting. Step number 3 is called anchor the feeling, which is somatic reinforcement. This means that you actually just sit, visualize your future self, how she would look, the smells that comes in, the thoughts that comes in, how does she react, who is she surrounded by, all of these great things. And you have to engage all 5 senses. Neuroscientists call this Hawaiian learning, which means you've probably heard this before, that neurons that fire together, they wire together. So the more you actually connect and emotionally feel that version of you, the faster your brain will actually start to act and take on this role and make it lasting. So girl, I hope you learned today that you don't have to exhaust yourself to get the results in life that you want. So the moment you actually start operating as the woman who already has and already lives the lives of her dreams, your brain literally rewires, your energy shifts, and the world starts giving you different things and different opportunities. So if this shifted something inside of you, I am very pleased to hear about it in the comments. And also turn on the bell button when you subscribe so you never miss another video. And then your next step is right here. Watch this video that is a very, very big secret that's about a feminine energy trap that almost no one talks about. So watch this video if you want your whole transformation to feel way more neutral, and I will see you along the way.